Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Maya Tusi, and this is your latest news update as Tommy Robinson has now launched his war on Tucker Carlson, or Qatar Tucker, we had a recent interview between Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson, where Tucker decided to not only defend Islam and the rise of Islamic population, but also launch an attack on Tommy Robinson while simultaneously claiming that he doesn't know Tommy Robinson. Yet he attacked him. Anyway, we're going to show you some clips, videos from the interviews and the reaction from Tommy Robinson himself. Now, Tucker Carlson recently has been saying some weird stuff, including praising the communist leader, the communist dictator of Venezuela, Maduro, claiming that Maduro is actually a conservative. Yeah, he's not a communist. Maduro is a conservative. Now, let's go to this moment during the interview with Piers Morgan. Of course, you could watch the full version by going on Tucker's channel. These are clips. This is the moment Piers Morgan, the liberal Piers Morgan, attacked Tommy. And then this is what Tucker said.
Tommy Robinson here.
Who's Tommy Robinson?
You know Tommy Robinson.
He seems like a fraud to me.
Well, he's not even Tommy Robinson. His name's Stephen Yaxley. It's not even his real name. He's also convicted of multiple crimes, thuggery, fraud.
I don't even know anything about him, but he doesn't seem like he's that into Britain.
We would call him a little shit stirrer, right? However, he has
the real people here, the actual Britons.
This idea that he's driven, that we're on the verge of some sort of civil war here. Do you feel that when you walk around?
No, and so not only Tucker doesn't believe that, because apparently average, ordinary Brits, they're very different to Tommy Robinson. They are actually very tolerant to the rise of multiculturalism and mass migration. And I'm going to show you more clips because Tucker Carlson was actually defending Sadiq Khan's London. The whole thing got completely out of control. Now, Tommy decided to hit back in response to the first clip, saying, surely not, as he has no idea who I am. Effing sausage, because this is Tucker from 2018, when he said, check out my exclusive interview with British activist Tommy Robinson, who is out on bail. He details his time in prison. Now, maybe Tucker just forgot about Tommy. It happens, right? You know, clearly Tommy Robinson is not that memorable. He recently was talking about him, but the evidence is there. We know what's been going on. This is from his interview.
The United Kingdom has become a mere shadow of the nation that gave us freedom of speech, freedom of the press, a host of other rights that we take for granted but probably should not take for granted. Nobody knows that better than Tommy Robinson. In May of this year, he was arrested for attempting to cover the trial of a sexual grooming gang in the UK. For speaking out loud on the sidewalk, he was taken to prison. Tommy Robinson, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us. I know that you've spent the last 2.5 months by yourself in a cell, so you're probably...
How does he know he did that? Because he doesn't know Tommy. Interesting. But he also praised Tommy Robinson, but Qatar Tucker is now pretending that he doesn't know him. But that's not the biggest issue over here, because obviously Tommy's hit back again. But Tucker Carlson praised Sadiq Khan's Islamic London and the rise of the Islamic population. And I'm going to show you the next clip, because this is where it actually becomes dangerously problematic when it comes to the establishment media figures like Tucker Carlson completely whitewashing everything and try to gaslight a population of a country he doesn't know anything about. Let's go.
No, not
at all.
Hang on. There we go. Let's go.
Threatened walking around?
No, not at all.
Of course.
Again, who's going to do anything? Pakistanis are all super nice to me, and the whites are all kind of craven and sad. No, you're totally safe here, man.
So Pakistanis are nice to him. It's the whites, the white people in England, in London, who are sad and not nice. And it's totally safe. London is totally safe, guys, because Tucker Carlson got to the airport, got into his private car with the driver, picked him up, went straight to a nice place, got to the building. He didn't get stabbed, so London is absolutely fine now. That's why Tommy Robinson decided to hit back again, saying, so Tucker Carlson has declared London totally safe and that Pakistanis are super nice. By the way, this is not a generalization about all Pakistanis for the record, but we know who we're talking about. Literally, Arabian Hour reported in England's capital as the Pakistani mayor pretends he doesn't know what a grooming gang is. You know, Tucker? Grooming gang is PC for Pakistani rape gangs, where Pakistani Muslims have been gang raping, torturing and pimping out, even killing British children, to an estimate put out by the legacy media itself at up to 1 million victims. You flew in to tell this to one of legacy media's most disgraced journalists, Piers Morgan, all while pretending not to know me. Because I fight this as a scourge only for literally seconds later to call me a fraud. You have many faces, Mr. Carlson. Very disappointed. Then Tucker took it to a whole new level of actually defending the Islamic extremists and multiculturalism and everything else, because apparently the whites are more problematic. Now, for the record, people like me, people like Tom Robinson, call out the so-called champagne socialists or limousine liberals. These are the white middle-class, self-hating Guardian readers. But I can assure you, as someone who has been in the Westminster bubble, I can have a debate, I can have even a drink with a liberal, a so-called white middle-class liberal person whose views are completely wrong. In my opinion, we could have a massive debate. We could even call each other names, but we could also have a drink and go home. I've done that many times. For example, with my friend Benjamin Butterworth. I don't agree with him on anything. I can't do that with Mohammed Hijab. I can't do that with the other Abduls or anybody else because I would get stabbed, as the police had to give me protection at times. And then they withdrew it because apparently we don't have funding for it. Let's go to that clip.
I do think again that the over amplification of the Islam problem, as people put it, or the the Muslim problem, has been massively overstated.
Well, that's an obviously.
Yeah.
Hate the Muslims. No, we know where that's coming from.
I don't like it.
I hate it. I've never had an argument with a Muslim, with an actual Muslim. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a Muslim. We probably agree on a lot. So I'm not hating on the Muslims at all. Or bad Muslims or bad everybody. I like the Bangladeshis better than I like the liberal whites in your country. A lot more. They've never yelled at me. I'm not attacking them. I think I have a lot more in common with the Pakistani cab driver than I do with the average Guardian staffer who's white.
There are lots of white people who behave very badly in this country.
Well, I've met them,
Right.
and they yell at me. So yes,
Tommy.
I just for the fifth time,
Tommy.
I have more in common with the sincerely religious Pakistani cab driver than I do with anyone who works at the Times of London. That is just a fact. I don't like those people. I don't want to eat with them, and they're white.
Now, as I said, so firstly, they were talking about two different groups of people. One was the middle-class liberal side, and also, as Piers also included, the troublemakers, people like Tommy Robinson, the average plebs, as they call them. These smug, middle-class, elitist, establishment media people who've been kicked out. Now they've started their own YouTube channels and think that, oh yeah, we could be like new media. Yeah, we are now alternative. We definitely don't have any links to the establishment or other countries' establishments. But don't worry, guys. People like Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson are definitely alternative media. Definitely. Yeah. But the fact that Tucker Carlson becomes very, very passionate about his hatred against certain people, and then other times when it comes to the actual enemy, he's always like, he finds nuance. He says, you know what? Well, firstly, he said Qatar is an ally. That's a weird thing to say. Secondly, Maduro is not a communist, he's a conservative. Okay, that's also weird. But, when it comes to the other enemies, it's like, but I see good and bad. But a liberal person who reads The Guardian, well, not only that person is an enemy. Again, I stand against everything they stand for, by the way, the Guardian people. But he paints them as if they are the Antichrist who are about to kill him. So he has to hate them, not oppose them, not to challenge their ideas, not to defeat them politically. No, he actually hates them. But then Tommy hit back again, saying It's all quite obvious now. Come live in Luton, see how much you get on with those so-called Pakistani taxi drivers, the same ones who are ferried about the young English white girls pimped, tortured and murdered by Pakistani gangs. What the F does Tucker Carlson know about living with Pakistanis? Now, then Tucker Carlson also praised Piers Morgan. It just gets weirder and weirder. Again, you could watch the full version of it if you want to. I don't know why you would want to, but so you don't just watch out of context, because you might say, oh, this is out of context clips. Oh, out of context. It's not out of context. You could just watch the whole thing. Tucker says Piers Morgan is the king of free speech. I'm going to show you the clip in a second. King of free speech. He's a champion of free speech, right? Piers Morgan has banned many people, including blocking me, refusing to talk to me, and not allowing my good friend Natasha Hasselhoff and many others to speak or have a debate. Piers Morgan is not pro-free speech. For the love of God. Let's go.
Piers Morgan has single-handedly done more for free speech, which is disappearing in Great Britain, than any other Briton. He has done more for free speech than any other person in this entire country. Just want to say this out loud because it's absolutely true. And he's done it the old-fashioned way by allowing other people onto his platform, onto his show, to debate. People who have no other venue to say what they think. And you may disagree with 50% and agree with the other 50%. It doesn't even matter. That debate, the real debate about issues that really matter, that nobody else in this country is allowed to talk about, are taking place at scale on Piers Morgan's show. So if you watch this and you think Piers Morgan has no idea what side is up, why is he defending the indefensible? Keep in mind that here, and this is an authoritarian country where disagreement is no longer allowed, you go to jail for it. By the thousands, people go to jail for it every year. He alone is keeping it open. So God bless Piers Morgan.
What? Is he drunk? He must be drunk. This is the only explanation. Guess what happened afterwards? Oh, Tommy Robinson hit back. R.I.P. Tucker, showing he knows F all about Great Britain. Now, another proof and evidence that Tucker knew Tommy, obviously, was the interview he did when he was part of Fox News with Katie Hopkins, saying check out part of my interview with Katie Hopkins on jailed British journalist Tommy Robinson. Then Tommy said, no idea who I am. Then he has the audacity to call me a fraud. Your dog's doing well, Qatar. I am now going to work on an expose video on Qatar. F you, caveman. Fair enough. We also now have a statement from Tommy Robinson. He said, just because people fairly criticize white Western woke liberals for their identity politics, their degeneracy, and their love for, obviously, the trans indoctrination of children, and their support of cutting off basically dicks and breasts, doesn't make Islam or Islamic countries great. It doesn't make Sharia a great thing either, just because it pushes back on such degeneracy. It doesn't make Islamic immigration into the West something to celebrate or cherish. It doesn't make countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Iran, or Pakistan something to admire or emulate. Especially when you consider their backwardsness. Their penchant, obviously, for child marriages, forced marriages, generation after generation of cousin marriages, and they're effing by emulating their dear prophet. It doesn't make the acceptance of child marriage not abuse and rape. Thinking anything otherwise is retarded. A clear-thinking Christian would know this. Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson don't. That's by Tommy. It's fascinating that we've reached this level. But it's not really a surprise, because you could take the man out of the mainstream establishment. You can't take the mainstream establishment out of the man. It applies to both Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson. When many others over the last 10, 15 years have tried to start from scratch, grassroots level, people who started their blogs, people who started their podcasts, their YouTube channels and everything else, independent platforms coming out of nowhere and building those platforms, including 2CTV with 1.2 million subscribers and many others, calling themselves new media, alternative media, because we had no links to the establishment. And now suddenly, people like Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson, who get fired from their mainstream companies, suddenly they call themselves alternative, new media. They're one of us. But then every now and then, the propaganda comes back. The agenda comes back. The mentality, the out-of-touch mentality of being establishment comes back. They show their true faces every single time, but apparently Piers Morgan has done more for free speech in Britain than anybody else, according to Tucker Carlson. Apparently Maduro is not a communist, he's a conservative. Apparently Xi Jinping in China really cares about his people. Oh, he's a very compassionate father of the country. Definitely not a tyrant. And many others who've been praised by Tucker. Oh, let's not forget Qatar being a natural ally to the United States. Sadiq Khan's London is a totally safe place. They've done a great job. Mass migration and multiculturalism are perfect things. Because that's much better than middle class white people. But yeah, the white middle classes are more dangerous. Just because one side, as Tommy said, does liberal degeneracy, doesn't necessarily mean the other side is also like now perfect. We are getting attacked in the West by multiple groups from different angles and different fronts at the same time. This is not time to pick between which enemy is better. Defend your values. Stop being reactionary. Be proactive. Be passionate about what you're about. If you actually are passionate, I'm not really sure what people like Piers Morgan actually care about. Obviously, they want to bring back the status quo of social liberalism. Fine. That's what you believe in. I disagree. We could have a debate. But Piers Morgan doesn't want to debate me. Piers Morgan has blocked me. It's been years. It's been 5 years now. I'm banned. Doesn't want to debate me. Because I called him a snowflake. Because he wanted to promote their COVID jabs and more lockdowns and this and health mandates. I called him out. He went around crying. Apparently I'm the devil. Weird. Absolutely weird. MT says the religious Pakistanis like the one who gave him 15 million to start his show. More religious Pakistanis felt it okay to groom British infidel girls. I mean, the connections between some of these failed mainstream presenters who get kicked out of the companies and both big financial backers in Qatar and Pakistan. Every single time. Totalitarian says Piers Morgan is one of the worst liberal hypocrites. That's the problem with him. The hypocrisy is the problem. His liberalism, I can have a debate with. We could have a discussion. Absolutely. His hypocrisy, I can't do anything about that. Vinny says, do the silent majority really exist? Yes. I mean, they're no longer that silent, but yeah. At this point, it's becoming quite a loud majority. Will people really step up if needed? It really depends in what way. Each country will have a different reaction. We've already seen reaction in France from the political right and in Germany, in America, but Britain is slightly different. Insanity. Sooner listen to Tommy Robinson, I agree to see about Piers. I mean, imagine praising that guy. But the fact that Tucker Carlson's behavior is a surprise to some. You just have to pay attention to even with the sort of stuff that he was doing and saying when he was part of Fox News. And when he was part of CNN, and when he was part of Fox News, Tucker Carlson's flip-flopping and lack of intellectual capacity always proved itself. And there have been people on X who keep finding all these examples from his days with CNN, with Fox News, and all the mainstream basically outlets, One day he would say this, the next day he would say the exact opposite for absolutely no reason. But the problem is, he doesn't say, I've changed my mind. He doesn't say that. He pretends he didn't say the first thing. That's the issue. And he says both of them, both the opposite positions, with passion. Well, if you don't know something, just say you don't know. If Piers Morgan is asking you about London and the Islamic population and extremism, and whether it's safe or not, say, I don't know, I've heard some things, I'm going to go find out. Don't say, oh no, it's perfect, I love them, everything is perfect. I'd rather hang out with the extremist Pakistanis than a white middle-class liberal. Or also people like Tommy Robinson, as they said, Piers and Tucker. You know, they'd rather not hang out with someone like Tommy, and basically implying people like Tommy, so his supporters, an average pleb. It's crazy stuff. Anyway, but the fact that these people also want to promote tribalism, saying you have to pick teams, that it's like a football thing, that you have to back team this or team that, because apparently you can't think for yourself. You're not allowed to be an individual. You're not allowed to do critical thinking. You have to pick a side. Oh yeah, you have to apparently. You have to, even politically speaking, you have to, right now, before the election, you have to pick between those parties now. Now, before these parties have even prepared for the next election, you have to pick whether you're Tory or Advance or UKIP or Reform. Because they are too lazy to do their own work. They want people, ordinary people, to prop them up. To prop up their parties. That's what they want. They're too lazy, so they're creating an army of civilians, voters and taxpayers to create a false popularity contest. Go sit down in your stupid offices and come up with good policies, all of you. Then come to the public when the election comes, sell it to the public, and then we'll decide who to vote for. But a number of people have been sheep. They've said, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm going to go promote this party and promote that stupid party. No, what are you doing? It's not your job. Pick a side, pick a team. The obsession with tribalism on a political level, a party level, but also celebrity nonsense. The fact that you now have political figures and media figures and new media figures, all of us, we have this celebrity thing. Oh no, but you have to be Team Tusi or Team Carlson. Like, what's this nonsense? You can be Team Tusi TV, that's fine. Not Team Tusi. It's stupid. You shouldn't agree with everything I say. You would definitely disagree with some of the stuff I would say on a daily basis. But as long as you still align your values with this channel, then you'll be like, oh, okay, we get it. We're fighting for similar things. But there's this obsession with promoting tribalism and blind faith, loyalty, is vile and is dangerous. Now, Toddy Terrence says, would Piers Morgan allow Islamic Muslims who worship jihad, jizya, apostasy, blasphemy, all the usual stuff, inside his home with his family? Yeah. And children? Legitimate question. So obviously, in private, no, because they won't even allow themselves to be in that position. So the perfect example I have is I've had debates with my fellow kind of liberal left-wing friends, including people like Benjamin Butterworth. When they were, for example, sometimes they say, in defense of mass migration and multiculturalism, primarily multiculturalism, these people who live in big cities like London, and they are middle class enough to have enough money and status in society to basically get into their taxis, go to work, go on TV, do whatever they want to do, go to Westminster, do some party political nonsense, then go to a members club, go to a nice bar, a club or whatever, right? And then obviously they will hang out with people from different backgrounds. They will hang out with, they could go to Soho, the gay village, and they could meet a French and also an Arab who also happened to be gay, but they also happen to be educated and middle class and also have money and young professional, right? So they go around saying, well, we are defenders of multiculturalism because I have a friend who's French. I have a friend who's somewhere from the Arab world, and they're all gay, and they speak English. They've integrated. We go out, have beer, and they think that's it. That's multiculturalism. It's done. Perfect. Done. Is it? You live in your own bubble. Firstly, you are talking about people who are on your level. You're talking about people who have integrated into London. It's the same with New York City. They haven't integrated to Britain, they've integrated to London. London is an international hub, right? It's basically like an airport. New York City, Manhattan is the same thing. So you can integrate into New York, you can integrate into London. You could basically belong in London, but in a bubble in London. Not all of London, in a bubble. You get in the tube, you get the taxi, you go to your nice bars, you hang out with, again, fellow educated, academic, middle class, young professionals, right? You also live in these new built villages and apartments. You know, everybody lives in the same place, but they're all young professionals. A lot of them are international students, international graduates. But yeah, they might be from different backgrounds. Oh yeah, technically, yeah. They all speak perfect English. They are all basically doing the same things. They're all young professionals. They could never be, obviously, British, but they are Londoners. And you think that you will like all type of people, all cultures and all classes? I told these people like Benjamin Butler, I said, you will not hang out with a random family from a lower cultural class from Bangladesh or Pakistan who came to the UK illegally, are now living in Birmingham, for example, and they barely speak English. They don't even not only they're not gay, they hate the gays, and they don't drink alcohol. They're not going to come out to the sort of places you want to go. You're not going to hang out with them. You're not going to get along with them. But you are basically defending them by using your middle-class educated foreigner friends, saying, well, but because I've got this French guy, he's gay too. That means we should basically be okay with all the others, regardless of the fact that you have different cultural classes. Not everybody from Saudi Arabia will be the same, or even China. But there's this mentality, this is the whole thing, to answer Todd Terrence about Piers Morgan, would he let one of those guys into his house? They don't even want to think about it. They are hanging out with foreigners. Oh yeah, in London, people like Piers Morgan. But the foreigners that are basically like someone's born in New York, someone's born in Canada, there would be someone who is technically, I don't know, from Iran, right? Like myself. But they're also basically educated middle class, speak perfect English, and you know, let's just say their behavior is compatible with the London Piers Morgan type. They don't know anything. Establishment scum. Now, Piers is a hypocrite and Carlson is a sellout. Yep. Shabana talk about Tucker Takis. Does Tuck know we built the US Navy to stop Muslim pirates who came after us in Africa because their book told them to enslave infidels. They told Jefferson in 1786. Yes. Leave the goats alone. Leave the goats alone. While you leave the goats alone, what you should do instead is to actually join the gang, join the army of our new media revolution. It's Black Friday. Oh, sorry. Apologies. African American Friday. It's African American Friday. So we're going to give you guys a 50% discount. Annual memberships of 2CTV Plus if you use the promo code Friday50. Yes, you get 50% off annual memberships, limited offer. Go to 2c.tv or just find the direct link in the description. You can only use the promo code on the website, not the app. So get the website first, get the discount, then you can download the 2CTV app afterwards. And of course, enjoy all the premium content and the chat forum and everything else. And we're going to continue this conversation with the members of 2CTV Plus on our chat forum. So become a member right now. Use the promo code Friday50. Then you can download the app. Well, you don't have to have the app. You can also just go on the website, by the way, to join our chat forum, our private Discord server. Post live chat. It's on the left-hand side. If you use a mobile device, it will look like this. Under the voice channels, post live chat. So check it out. And obviously, I'll continue this conversation with the members on that side. Let's just double check. I did answer everyone, right? Good, thank God. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.